Good evening, viewers, and welcome to JACKOCAR and round 11, the opening of the postseason for season 7. We are here in Imola, San Marino, of course, a track that has brought us many a great race in the past. It's looking a little overcast as we head in towards qualifying whilst we wait for the drivers to all join the lobby. With me tonight, there they are, all 20 of them. But with me tonight, we have the returning Matt Shepherd on co-commentary. And the driver comms this week is Jess Ball, who we will go to first, actually. Jess, your qualifying lap isn't too far away as you pick your setup, but in the chase this season, what are your thoughts early doors before we get going?
Well, I think this has been the most competitive chase I think we've ever seen. I think in JACKOCAR is going to be very, very exciting. I think many drivers are in contention for that as well. I'm not ruling myself out of it yet, but I think whoever wins, I think is gonna, deserve it out of all the seasons we've ever done the chase. So I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out on top. I think there's a few that could be in with a real chance after tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's something I said in chat earlier. When you look down that list of chase drivers, it is the most competitive yet. Let's just run you through the drivers. That's Connor Byers, yourself, Jess, Ben Harrott, Pete Knighton, Leroy, Michelle, Risky, OKK Quinn, and Tez. Like, any one of those could win this with ease. Jess, on your sheer consistency, you were, 8 points shy of making the playoffs in the end? So, anyone anyone can win that chase battle. And coming to you, Matt Shep, as we see Tez out on his outlap to begin qualifying for the postseason. Welcome back, first of all. But what are your expectations going into another postseason of the Cup Series?
First of all, thanks for having me back. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out with the chase. I've obviously not been a part of JACKOCAR for too long, so it's all really interesting to me to see how it all works and all the different points and everything. But yeah, I'm excited for tonight because it should be a good race. I love Imola as a track. I love the racing. I think we've got a grid full of 20 drivers tonight. It should be a good race.
Absolutely, and more importantly as well, all 20 of these drivers are full-timers. It's such a good thing to see as we begin the playoffs. They all know what's at stake. And as I said in the chat earlier, as Tez begins his qualifying lap, and any one of those 20 drivers can win this, like with ease. Not even a doubt in the air. Any one of the 20 can do it. And if Jamie Wright's 1-2, then that just backs up my point anymore. Furthermore, I should say. But here is Tez. We'll go on board then for this lap. A man who has started 6 races this season and scored 0 points, which is even worse than his tally from last season. As we head up into the turn 7, Tosa they call this one. He won Austria last season, but no luck this time around, so he's having to go for a chase campaign. He did get knocked out of the playoffs, however, last season. Didn't go all that well for him, but hopefully he can make it work in the chase this time around. Certainly a driver that many years ago I've been told was very, very, very good, and keeping it valid so far for now around this short Imola track. 19 corners, not all of them true corners, as we head on down into 16 and 17 here, where the balconies overlook the back end of the racetrack. And providing Tez can get it round here, that's the last real corner up to the line. He will be the benchmark for the evening. And there it is, a 1:16.2. Is that competitive? We will find out later on as we move to Danny Quinn then. Matt Shepherd, one of your rivals in the Kia Series on a Tuesday night. Take us through it.
Yeah, obviously famously lost China to him. Which I'm not bitter about at all.
No?
No, not even slightly. But as we see Quinn coming through Aqua Minerale, good exit from there. Running up to Variante Outer.
So I'm glad you're getting these pronunciations of the corners in. So you've got the track map up like
I
myself.
do. I also did a bit of Italian in school, so I know a bit of
Yeah. Oh, you finish the rest of the lap off in Italian then for us, please.
Oh, I can't do that.
Okay, rubbish.
It comes through Ravazza onto the final straight, onto the home straight, I should say. DRS open.
Variante Bassa, I believe they call it.
That's the one.
That's Danny Quinn. He goes P2 with over a second off of Tez. So maybe that is Tez showing his speed as we look at OKK. But it won't be for long with that invalidation. The gold liveried cars do not have a good history in JACKOCAR. And the start of the postseason for OKK is keeping up that unlucky trait for a man that wanted so much more. The good news for him is all 10 chase drivers are within 4 points of each other. Next up is Sullivan Lewis when I find him. Where is he, boys?
Risky?
There he is, P12. Yeah, Risky, who's also invalidated.
He's been invalidated already.
So can you believe this? He asked me to hold the lobby for 10 minutes. I said, no, you can have 5. And then he goes and does this. So what was the point? What was the point? Hopefully, another one of your rivals then, Matt. Michel Goris.
Michel's invalidated as well.
He has also invalidated. So should we move on again?
Does anybody want to set a lap time?
What about the man on an outlap? We're going to get an entire lap with Leroy here, the Season 4 Kia Series champion. It's a fact that was being argued earlier in the Cup Series chat by Kieran, who said, well, he's a fraud. It should have been Yuri's title. I said, well, if you go back a season before, if he didn't get that penalty, it basically equals it out. But we'll go on board then with Leroy for a little bit of this lap. Apparently they do count that as turn 1, so this is turns 2 and 3 that you're looking at. Variante Tamburello. And then up to 4, and then a short shoot up into turn 5 and 6, which you'll see now, keeping it valid. Unlike the others, Tez and Quinn, the only other two to do that feat so far. This is where Hamilton went off a couple years ago, but we don't like to talk about that. Good exit from Leroy. Can he be the first challenger to Tez's time? Of course, the last time Tez took pole, it was in Japan. Last season, the time before that, it was Austria, and he won the race. Leroy won here last season in the Cup Series on a Joker, and is one of our 4 Jokers tonight, along with Risky and Jake O'Sullivan and Ben Harrett. 2 of those yet to come. One's already invalidated, and Leroy doing better than the last 3 drivers as we head on down into turn 16 and then 17. It's looking good so far from the man from the Netherlands. I almost forgot where he's from. That's quite bad, isn't it? DRS then, wide open on the back of Leroy, and he goes P2. So Tez's time still looking good.
Good time from Tez.
And here's Pete Knighton for you. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's invalidated as well.
A little story behind Pete Knighton then. Whilst we got time to wait for Ben Harrett.
I believe Ben has started his lap now, so
okay.
He's coming through turn 1.
Pete Knighton has threatened to leave the league for the rest of the season. Should he have a poor result here tonight, but we've heard that before.
He'll be back.
Yeah, and here's Ben Harrett then, running a new livery. The midfield man who I have got word that he did intentionally throw his chances of making the playoffs just to be in the chase. So this, you are looking at what is technically a playoff driver. He is coming into this 502 points, which makes him P2 in the chase standings as that stands. Can he deliver here tonight, Matt?
I think he can. I think he's quickest in Sector 2, which is promising. Purple in Sector 2, sorry. Which is the same. As he comes down to Ravazza. I like that livery. That's very nice.
It's nice, isn't it? Here he comes in.
Slightly wide.
Oh, he gets away with it as well.
He's got lucky there. What can he do? Third.
I think the end of his lap sort of ruined that for him, because as you said, he was looking good early on. Next up then, Jess Bull. And yes, to answer your question from earlier, Jess, well, we are going to ask you to commentate over this lap. Take it away.
So I'm
That
going
sigh. Less attitude, please.
So I've just passed the Variante Alta, which is okay for some drivers, but for me it's not. Down the hill through to that, so now you take the right hand side through here, not like how I'm doing it. Heading towards the final corner, DRS wide open, and it's going to be a 1:18.7.
P5, and the thing is, Jess, so many people before you have invalidated that you will be no worse than 15th tonight on the grid. I think your best qualifying this season is 11th or 12th, something like that. So it's good to at least get a lap in. As we move on then to Connor Byers, who is many people's favourite to win the chase, the last of the chase drivers as well, to do their qualifying runs. So we've only seen 5 valid laps, but Connor back in the purple machine, looking good there through the chicane. Can he turn it into something special? His best ever qualifying in JACKOCAR was a P3, and he finally matched the best ever qualifying with the best ever race finish a couple of weeks ago with that podium. But back down to earth with a DNF last week, and now across the line goes Connor.
Goes pole.
Pole for Connor,
Good
as
lap.
Matt Shep informs you all. And he starts the postseason on 501 points. So, MK Born, everybody's favourite German, unless, of course, you are any member of Team Speed. But that's not for me to comment on. His win, not the most popular in the league, but a win is a win. He doesn't care, and he's back in the playoffs once again, is Mike, as he comes up to the line. Where can he put that red car? Only P5. As we move on to Yuri Hazelager. Matt, your thoughts from the other day, Yuri not letting me win in Belgium? Disgusting, really, isn't it?
I think you should elaborate on that one, how you feel about it.
My views are utterly biased, so I think you should elaborate on that.
I'm trying to remember. What track were we at?
Only Belgium. I did tell you about 12 seconds
I wasn't
ago.
there. I wasn't there. I missed it.
Rubbish. Jess, what do you think then?
Sorry. Go on, Jess.
Well, to be fair, I think Yuri should have let you win because Yuri was already through, and he to be fair, he's got to have enough playoff points, so he advances anyway. So, yeah, he should have let you through, and you should have won. There you go. But
Thank you very much. And I will be paying Jess slightly later on. As Yuri up to the line, it's P3. That's what you get. That's karma. You'd have gone pole if you'd let me win in Belgium, Yuri. But never mind, hey. So let's go JB Griffiths. He's next. A couple of people's outsider pick to make a Championship 5, to go all the way through the round of 10, 8 and 6, and then sneak his way into the Championship 5. Can it be done? That's the question. He's a guy that ran out of form mid-season. He was doing so well, but realised when he wanted to throw the playoffs, he was too far away from the chase cut line to actually enter the chase. So here he is in the playoffs once again, his 4th season in a row, and running another gold livery, but this one is more valid than OKK's. It's across the line he goes, but it's only P6. As we move on to Casper Klein, the self-proclaimed forgotten man of JACKOCAR, a 6-time race winner, but never made it to a Championship 5, knocked out in the round of 6 once before. But a man with a lot of talent available to him. He just needs to use it and start to believe in himself. The 3 standout drivers in the league may be faster, but this is JACKOCAR, and anything can happen. We ride on board with Casper in Sector 3. Turn 17. Is this one Ravazza, Matt? Confirmed to me?
Yes.
Thank you. Out of 18. And this is 19. You'll see this on board. What a stupid corner this is. It's P1 though for Casper. The forgotten man shoots to the top of the timing charts. Who is it next? It's Kieran. We don't really care about Kieran. Oh, he's invalidated anyway.
No.
How quick would this have been? He's right at the end of the lap, so we'll stay with it. It's a 16.6. He would have gone P5 with that.
That would have been pretty good.
Yep. Kyle Smith then, back from having his Twitter hacked by an American the other day. I don't know any more details on the story. And also back in purple, ART purple that is. It's been a while since he's been in that. Let's hope it's more successful than the gold cars that we've seen out so far. It is Casper, a former ART driver, on pole at the moment, followed by Connor, the owner of ART in P2, and Tez with that early lap in P3. But what can Kyle do? Can he get amongst the front runners? It's P2.
Yes, he can.
You would expect a little bit more from Kyle, if anything. But that's not the case for the moment, as we move then to the big four. And the first of which, another ART driver in Jamie Wright. And of course, I don't know if anyone knows, but the story behind this livery, I think his mum and his sister, or his mum picked the template and his sister picked the colours or something like that. And I have to say, it's probably his best livery he's ever ran in the league. And he's had it all season long with the exception of throwback week, where he made absolutely no effort at all. Through the chicane comes Jamie Wright, the current all-time record pole sitter in the Cup Series. In fact, in JACKOCAR in general. He shares that title with Arnaud. And one man, Ben Shaw, is one pole position behind from equaling them. But can Jamie Wright go clear of Arnaud? Yes, he can for the moment. It's 12 hundredths the gap to Casper. As we move on then, Matt Shepherd to the fastest man in team speed. It's Garethal.
It's Gareth, thanks. I was clicking through. Yeah, he's just come through the chicane. I wonder if he'll go sub 116. I wonder if he'll put it into the 15s. Can he do it?
He's never ever qualified higher than third. He's a bit like Connor.
Very tidy through the last corner. Can he do it?
Oh no, awful. Stick to commentating. So then, the showpiece event. First up, Ben, and then we'll move to Jake, who's on his outlap.
He's invalidated.
Well, that's a rare error then for you. Jess, are you retired? You are, aren't you?
Yes.
Do you want to commentate Jake's lap?
I will find him.
I'm quite happy to do it if you want me to.
No, that's absolutely fine. I need to try and find the onboard camera, which is hard to do on a wheel because I'm used to it on a controller. But heading towards turn 5 now, heading through Villeneuve chicane, as he liked to call it, going up the hill towards Totes as well. That is where we saw, I think, Lewis Hamilton beach it in 2021, caused a red flag, and then when we saw George Russell and Valtteri Bottas make contact with each other in the rain as well. Heading towards Piratella now, and it's looking a tidy lap at the moment through past sector 1. He's in sector 2 now. Admirali as well. We don't want to talk about at the moment. Nicholas Latifi had an off with another driver that I'm not going to name. Admirali as well. I think he's going to take it with so much accuracy and speed he does. According to my timings, he's purple sector 2 at the moment. So I'm guessing he's looking like he's going to be, I think, challenging for the top, if not the top. Don't forget he's the top driver in the regular season. He scored the maximum playoff points because he managed to do it before the final round of the regular season. Up to the line, I think it could be sub 115. Yes, he can. 115, hey, what a lap.
Cracking lap that.
Fantastic. And with that pole position, that puts Jake level on poles in the Cup Series with arch nemesis. Any guesses? No? Ben Shaw. Of course, Matt will let you off because you're a Kia Series driver, but Jess, no excuses. You
come on, Jess.
Sorry.
How many races have you been in the league now? 112, and you didn't even know that, but unbelievable. So it is Jake then with another pole this season, his 7th all time, and I believe that is his 5th this season as well. It's an ART front row, followed by an ex-ART driver, Casper, and then Kyle in P4. The third row is shared with Connor and Tez, who is right up there. And he did warn us of this. The fastest man in team speed, joined by the slowest man in team speed on row 4. Leroy, last season's race winner here, and the midfield man, once again qualifying in the middle of the midfield. He's 2 races in a row he's done that. And the others, as I said last week, are too slow. So they are irrelevant. But down there, all the way down, we'll talk about this. All the way down there is Ben Shaw in like P17, who needs just 9 points to advance.
We've got rain.
But yeah, 9 points to advance for Ben, but he's going to have to do it from the back of the grid. And Jake O'Sullivan then, I don't know if you guys know this, but he's on 1,049 points, which means he's already advanced to the round of 8. So this is a nothing race, really. If he has a DNF, it really doesn't matter too much. It's just
cruise round.
Yeah, the points he earns just get added to his total, and he's looking like a dead cert for the Championship 5 already. We are joined by 12 people. Welcome then to the postseason JACKOCAR and its playoffs with the Chase campaign as well. We are looking at a wet San Marino. Jess, thoughts on the wet weather?
When I saw it, when I went into the lobby, I think there was some language that I didn't want to say on stream. I muted luckily, and I didn't want it to happen because it's one of my worst tracks, but anything can happen in JACKOCAR, but I'm pretty much screwed tonight, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, but the conditions, what's the game telling you? It is inters all the way, or a bit of wet running?
It starts off inters, then it's dry for a little bit, and then it's back to inters again.
Interesting.
Oh, someone's binned it. Jamie.
So I'll run down the bottom 11 that we didn't get time to do after qualifying ended. Is Jamie Griffiths, who's fallen to the back of the pack, but it will start P11. Then MK Bourne, who's spinning as we join him. After that, you've got Quinn and
contact.
Jess herself. Keep in mind, Matt, this is only the formation lap. So you didn't go on?
Does it give damage?
No.
It damages off, Matt.
No, fair enough.
Race winner from Belgium this season, Kieran, the reigning champion in the reigning conditions. It starts P15 with the Iceman having an uncharacteristic mistake of invalidating during qualifying. He never does that. In fact, I think it's the first time this season. Michel Goris, who we didn't see a lot of in qualifying because he invalidated early doors, goes for a spin but starts 17th. Risky, already on the grid. Pete Knighton, P19, and Michael O'Keke is going to start in P20. Michael O'Keke is now the 3rd most experienced driver in the league. Jess is 2nd, and Yuri Hazelager is the most experienced in the league ever with 140 race starts. So this will be, he starts the race in P8 then. There you see him coming round turn 18. The drivers have done their formation lap. And now it's very much over to these guys to kick off the postseason. Normally it's a bit of an Owen Wyatt job, but he's decided not to join us, which I don't fully understand. So it's going to be left to us 3 guys. It's myself on your lead commentary, Matt Shepherd co-commentary, and Jess driver comms. Hopefully we provide you with an exciting race. We have all 20 full-timers lined up on the grid. We also have 5 lights. We also have wet weather with a potential chance of a dry spell later on. And the drivers are away. It's Jake and Jamie who lead away, and Casper looks like he has a good start and will maybe even take the lead going down into turn 1. Tez had a poor start as well, as they are now running down into T2, and it's Jake who does actually lead the way, so had a better second phase of the start as we lose Tez early on. Iceman and Kyle are out of this race. 2 big names.
And Tez is going backwards.
Gone. Tez is indeed going backwards, but he has recovered. And we don't quite know what damage he has because we don't have any angles. He did get a nudge, which put him into the outside wall at turn 3. But can you believe this? 2 of the big names, 2 of the very biggest names in the league, are out. So I said in the Cup Series chat that if you are in the playoffs, you are entitled to one bad race. In the next 6 rounds, this one included, you're entitled to one bad race. If you have one, you should be able to get away with it and recover. If you have 2, you stand a very good chance of being knocked out. And that was always going to be the issue for Iceman starting down there. But Kyle, who started P5, I don't quite see what happened to him. Also on his way to catering. So there'll be a debrief with the 2 teams there afterwards, I'm sure. But yeah, Matt Shep, what did you think of that start? Because there was a lot going on and I didn't capture much of it.
I didn't see all of it either, but it was from my screen, it looked very tentative. Everyone was taking it a bit cautiously, especially at the front, and then must have been contact at the back between a few drivers. Not entirely sure what happened, but I'm sure we'll find out with the onboards at the end of the race.
And no doubt we will see some onboards. We have
we have Quinn in the pits.
This is, of course, a non-mandatory, so the pit lane is closed, lap 1 and 2. For mandatory stops at least. It opens lap 3, and in the Cup Series, of course, you are allowed to make one of your mandatory stops behind a safety car, providing it is after lap 3 or the conclusion of stage 2. So Quinn, that one was for damage.
Yep, he did have a very damaged front wing.
But it won't matter too much. I mean, even the Inters he wouldn't have burnt up too badly, just doing a single lap there. Falling to the back is not a big deal at this stage of the race.
Real catch up.
Our driver commentator Jess Ball is in P16. How was that start for you?
Absolute chaos. I caught all of what happened there pretty much. It was, I think, Iceman who made, contact with someone, and I think he spun, heading towards turn 2, and he went in the gravel, and I think we saw some other spins as well, including Quinn, and he got damage from it as well. So it was a bit crazy, to say the least, but I managed to dodge pretty much all of it.
Hang on, Jess. The race leader has spun off from the lead and has no wing, and he's going to be P17.
Behind Tez.
Well then.
How did he do that?
How did he do that? Sorry to interrupt you, Jess.
No worries.
That's quite unbelievable. And J-Luke's doing it now as well. He's off the road. What is going on here? So Connor makes up a position. I don't know if that's ART games, because you know they like to do this. Connor has made a position under safety car. We might have to bring a rule in for this, because that shouldn't be happening. I don't mind it when it's when it's a lap car trying to get back through, but that shouldn't be happening under safety car, if that's what did happen. Jake will make a non-mandatory stop, and he will fall behind Quinn, who is thinking about pitting again, looking at that. But yeah, Jess, back to you. Ever so sorry. Who did make contact with Iceman on that start?
I didn't see. All I saw was Iceman in the gravel and he was out, but I was concentrating on the road and didn't see who made contact with Iceman.
Okay, and no idea what happened to Kyle as well then?
I wonder if those 2 made contact, because it was, I think, quite close. I wonder if one of the 2 made a mistake or something. Or it might just be different parts of the circuit, I don't know, but...
Okay, well, I'm having confirmation now from Ben that he got T-boned by MK Bourne.
Aha.
So we'll assume that's what happened there. Speaking of MK Bourne, he has no damage, no visible damage at least. Of course, coming into this season, Mike changed from the 19 car and went into the 21 car. That 21 car has a lot of history. It was originally driven by Pete Knighton. It has 3 race wins, 3 poles and a championship. Very, very iconic number of the league is that 21. And of course, Mike took it to its 4th win just a couple weeks ago in Canada. But potentially under scrutiny later on in the when the stewards have their say. We will see. I think we're going to have one more lap of safety car here, guys. Matt Shep, anything to add so far as Casper leads his 2nd lap of the race?
I mean, we've only had, what, 3 corners of green flag racing? What else is there to say?
Oh,
Jess.
Well, let's talk about this, shall we? Jessica,
Do you
talk to us.
about that?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. It's
No, we do.
It's a hard pit. It's a hard pit lane entry.
No, it's not.
I was too fast. That's my response.
How fast were you as well?
I can't remember.
Well, what a catastrophic error for Jess's chances in the postseason here. At a track she doesn't like, in conditions she doesn't like, and now coming up with all the excuses. Oh, it's a hard pit lane, but never mind. There's still 5 races to go before we go to Silverstone. Just make sure you finish the race, pick up what points you can. Remember, all 20 drivers in contention. Well, all 20 drivers in contention to win the title, but only 18 on track at the moment. We will run you down the jokers. Ben Spurs, the lead joker, and then Leroy is another joker. Risky P10, and of course Jake in P17, who was your race leader before he made a error and lost his wing. That's why he's down there. So non-mandatories for Jake, Quinn and Jess, as we get notification that the safety car will come in this lap. Casper?
It's not non-mandatory because you can pit under safety car and it was end of lap 3.
Yes, you can.
You're correct.
The only problem there for Jake is... I'm being corrected on my own rules, can you believe that? The only problem for Jake is he loses that advantage later on, whereas everyone else will still have it in hand, including yourself and Quinn, Jess. But Casper is going to lead his first restart since, I think, the regular season of last season. So, yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do with it then. 2, 3 ART drivers behind, and Gareth, the fastest man in team speed, completes the top 5. What can the Finn do? This is the best opportunity he's going to have to make it to the round of 8. But through goes Ben Harrott. He read that one so well, didn't he? And he leads even before turn 1. What a start from Ben Harrott. And I wonder what Casper will have to say about that as he gives a little bump and run, and it's going to work out as well. Ben struggles, and Casper keeps it on the track, but Connor's up the inside as well. Little bit of history there between those 3. Connor will try and retain P3, and Pete Nyan, I'm being told, is off the track. And there he is.
Leroy.
As is Leroy, one of the jokers. J. Luke is falling down the order once again. As we head into turn 7, he's dropped from 4th to P7. I missed that one as well. Gareth also down there from 5th, and Connor finally loses a position to Jamie Griffiths, who was also super aggressive on that restart. But Ben Harrott, after an incredible restart, then a little sketchy moment, has once again regained the lead over Casper Klein, who now resides in P2. But the midfield man coming good early doors in the postseason.
Was an excellent restart by Ben. He read it to, like you said, to perfection, and he just nailed it, didn't he? Casper was caught napping a little bit.
Yeah, I do wonder if Casper may have something to say about that, because the restart was too perfect. But we will see. Ben Harrott will lead lap 5. Remember, there's a stage point at the end of lap 8, which of course will go straight onto his tally. The other thing to keep in mind as well, Ben Harrott, I don't know if it's last season or season before, was penalised for a restart infringement here in Imola. He went too early on the restart, and he got a 30-second penalty for it, as Casper has now started to close the gap. We did see Yori make a move on J. Luke there. Casper has a moment coming into turn 7. But assuming that restart was legal, all is well up front then. We do have JACKOCAR in action tonight. I don't know if Matt, you want to just double check that restart on the stream.
Well,
if you've got it up. If not, I'll allow you to commentate and I'll check it.
I'll do it. I'll give me a second.
That's what he's here for. So then Jamie Griffiths, P3 with Kieran right behind, and we see Quinn now having issues. And he'll be caught up by Pete Knighton here. Quinn going awfully wide, allows Pete to slide up the inside as Yori enters the top 5 as he battles with Connor. There's a lot of beef between these two. The two esport team owners. And Yuri getting the better of Connor, and now Connor being re-overtaken by Jamie Wright, who led him through under safety car. Jamie Wright, two-time champion, don't forget, but he's never won in Imola as Casper sets the fastest lap. And Yuri trying to break the toe. He's clearly one of the faster guys on track at the moment. His next target is teammate Kieran, who is trying to chase down very good friend Jamie Griffiths in that gold livery. Matt Shep, what do we think of the restart?
I think it might be legal. However, I would want to see the onboards from Ben.
Absolutely.
And Casper at the end of the race. But I think it might be okay.
We will come back to that, I'm sure, as Risky and Gareth are fighting. So is Kieran now in front of Jamie, and also Casper harassing the back of Ben Harrett's blue and white and purple and green liveried coloured car. Michelle Goris gets past Jake O'Sullivan, who has recovered from P17, but around the outside goes Jake. Goes a little wide, has a little moment, and he falls back to P11. Does the current points leader, Michelle Goris, one of two rookies in this season's field, the other one being Danny Quinn with his issues. The only driver with a penalty on track at the moment is Jess, because she stupidly sped into the pit lane. Other than that, they're all fairly clean, and it's good to see a bit of bit of battling behind. Here's OKK and Mike Kelterborn come together with Leroy Hazelager on the run down to turn 17.
Yeah, MK Bourne and Leroy are knocking 6 bells out of each other going through that chicane.
They sure are.
And the final turn.
And this is going to be one of those that keeps on going all race long. And providing drivers give as good as they get, I see no issue with it between these two. Two of the more aggressive drivers in the field. And Leroy shuts the door then on Mike Kelterborn. And we have damage from a car. Who's that? The two guys we're concentrating on ran over damage. Is it Tez? It is Tez. There's no front wing.
There's no wing.
So the man that threatened us good things, I guess we're going to have to wait for them. Car 91. Not been honoured with many successes over the years. One win for Tez, one win for Paul McGuinness way back when. And of course, Tez will... Well, now is a good time to pit, if any, isn't it? You've got to make 2 mandatory stops regardless of the weather conditions. It's looking like it's drying up, though. Jess, can you tell us any more?
Mark has told me to box for dries.
Oh, Mark trying to spice things up then. As we see 2 good friends, and I use that very lightly. Pete Knighton and MK Bourne. As we see Casper and Kieran pit.
Casper, Key, Jamie, Yuri, all in the pits. Risky.
Pit road's going to be very busy here. I'd stay out, boys.
Let's see what they go for. I'll keep an eye with Jamie.
Oh, and there's contact with Mike and Lee. Not Mike and Tez, sorry. No, it was Mike and Lee, right? So that one continued on. Jess having to queue. A number of drivers having to queue as Ben Harrett continues on his merry way.
Many drivers going to the mediums. Connor going on to the softs. DRS enabled.
Oh, Ben Harrett has a moment there. So it's the 3 ART drivers have stayed out. Maybe. Oh, Jake O'Sullivan. That's so wide, and not the first time we've seen him go wide there today. Is this, and again wide. Does he have some sort of damage, do we reckon? He did hit the wall pretty hard under safety car.
He might do.
OKK, another ART driver in the top 4 there, still on the inters. I wonder if going an extra lap will work out for these guys. Ben Harrett will...
Sorry.
No, go on, tell us.
I was going to say, well, OKK's just put the fastest sector middle too.
Interesting.
So the inters are still good, but I think those top 4 will come in. Ben's already in.
Well, yeah, race leader already in. And so are the 2 teammates.
In, and OKK. Yeah, OKK peels in as well.
Don't mind me. So Ben Harrett, by leading lap 8, meant that he picked up the stage win. Here comes Casper then. He's had a lap on these mediums. But where will he come out in relation to Ben Harrett, who's just getting up to speed? You can see him in the distance there. It looks like there's going to be no change. And in fact, if anything, it's worked out slightly better for Ben Harrett, who runs wide at turn 2. That's going to put Casper straight onto the back of him as they come through. Tamburello goes immediately defensive, and Casper then to the outside of Ben Harrett. They make contact. Into the gravel he goes. That was all on Casper. Ben Harrett retains the lead, and there's absolutely no issue with that. That was all Casper as we get yellow flags, and I think it's for his spinning. Jamie Griffiths, who's facing the wrong way. What a shame for him. He was having a good run. He was P3 before the pit stops. And now OKK, who's just come out on fresh tyres, defending hard from Michel Goris, is going to be on the back of Jamie Griffiths on those very hot, medium tyres that he's on. The gap at the front is now half a second, but Michel is again harassing the back of OKK here. He's looking very racy, and Pete Knighton, being at the back a few laps ago, is now recovered to P13. So this race not over for him, or anyone for that matter. So you see sparks fly up in front of Pete. It's Michel still on the back of OKK, who's trying to find some sort of inroad to Jamie Griffiths, who seemingly has recovered. In P10, Casper, fastest lap.
Okay, fastest lap.
Kieran, fastest lap, yeah. And, Ben Harrett has now led 6 laps in this race to Casper's 3. And Jake O'Sullivan, who led lap 1, Jamie Wright and Jake O'Sullivan. And one of the Joker drivers, Speed Risky, Sullivan Lewis, trying to go around the outside of Jamie Wright there. Nothing doing this time. But he's looking very good. He's looking a lot better, in fact, than Jamie. What can he do?
Very racing.
Around the outside of turn 7? Surely not. Jamie defends really well. Remember, Jamie made a fantastic move there a few seasons ago, which gained him a couple of places on the inside that time. So seeing Jake again running wide. He must have underfloor damage, and he is really, really pushing. Keep your eye on him, because the way he's driving, he could end up.
Oh, we've got OKK.
He could end up in the wall.
Front wing.
Speaking of the wall,
VSC.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. So yeah, OKK brings out a VSC for that debris left on track. So Jess, you're nowhere near it yet. It is sort of around 8, 9, 10, 11, around there, we think.
Aquaman Rally, that sort of area, which you're going through now, Jess.
And I wonder if Casper will try and take advantage of this VSC. As the VSC goes in, OKK will pit. Unfortunately for him, is a non-mandatory, but he needed to do it. Yellow flag's back out for a spinning Mike Kelterborn, is it? It is.
Yes.
He's in the grass.
He's in the grass with a front puncher.
So he is. Again, a non-mandatory stop he didn't want to take, but he has to. What a great shame. So Jess is going to gain at least 1 position here, maybe 2. OKK still.
This is a mandatory stop.
For whom?
For MK.
No, because he was already on the mediums. He pitted and from into the mediums.
Yeah. No, apologies. Yeah.
So everyone has done their first stop. I do fear for the Jokers, if what Jess is saying is correct, that if the rain comes back, then these guys will have to forego the benefits of the Joker with the 5 playoff points. Jamie Griffiths is round again, by the way.
Rain in 10 to 15 minutes, according to Mark. So you are right that the rain's coming imminently.
Interesting.
Great shame. So even if we do see a miracle win for the midfield man or any of the other Jokers, they won't get the 5 playoff points because they're going to have to make another stop. Risky ahead of J-Luke. He's finally getting that move done. Had to do it aggressively and made it count there. Good move from Risky. Classic Sullivan as well, having an awful regular season. Tends to have a better postseason run, as Ben Spurs has lost the lead to Casper, and we missed that. Unless you saw it, Matt.
Nope, I did not, unfortunately. It was into Piratella, though.
That sounds awfully technical.
Turn 9.
And thank you very much. Awfully Italian for me as well. I was only born with the one language, and I had to learn that one as well. So Casper and Ben, with their fighting, has brought Kieran into play. Kieran, of course, one-time race winner this season. He is very much on the tail of these two as well, isn't he? So we've got
he's there.
RDR, ART, and Speed, the three represented esports teams in the league, are 1, 2, and 3 on circuit. Catchman.
He's going to have a go. Around the outside ball.
Have a go, he
Done
does.
well before turn 1.
So Casper led lap 13. This is me trying to keep up with laps led, so I don't have to watch it back later on, but Casper still on the back of him. Let's watch this from Kieran's point of view. Will Casper go for a lunge? No, he doesn't. Yellow flags for Jamie Griffiths again. So his postseason is continuing in the same fashion as his regular season did. And the front runners are not too far away from catching up to him now, and he could end up being a lap down. It's Mike and OKK and Jess in front of them. Ben continues to lead the race. I've noted as well, Connor's the only man on softs and Quinn's the only man on hards. Little lock up from Casper. That will be inviting to Kieran. And Yuri has gained about half a second on this lap. Has a poor exit out of turn 12 though. And loses a 3/10 out of that, but back to we see him.
Yuri.
In fact, yeah, but we expected that.
To 17.
Back comes Yuri. But who's going to get the DRS here? We will go back to the leaders in a second because Kieran is overtaking Casper as we speak. But what will Ben Harrott do? Will he forego the lead here? Oh, he's going to spin! The contact model has claimed another victim. And what a great shame for Ben Harrott. Lap 14 was led by Ben Harrott, who has led the most laps this race. Casper, meanwhile, keeping his nose clean in all of this. And hopefully we'll stay with Kieran, so we've got a race. End of the next lap is the next stage point. But Kieran has been very fast recently. I wonder how much contact there was. As we see Connor chasing now Ben, who finds himself in P5. And look at Jake, he's still on the back of Yuri. But I am sure he has some sort of damage, the way he's driving.
He must do.
Must do. Right then, Kieran leads lap 15. Casper will have the DRS.
So I've just watched the replay. Kieran did turn into Ben into turn 1. Ben was on the inside, so I'm sure that will go to the stewards after the race.
I'm sure Ben Harrott will report it for sure. I wouldn't blame him.
Nope, not at all. I would be annoyed if that happened.
Livid with that. He has controlled this race all the way through. Little battle with Casper, but it has been Ben Harrott's name all over it so far. Casper, by the way, didn't make a move on Kieran, but Kieran's overspeed on that previous lap where he got Casper and then Ben was just there for the taking. I just don't think he judged it very well, and that's where you saw the contact come into play. Jake O'Sullivan has found himself back to third somehow. Yuri had to give that position up. Having a good race though is Yuri. And the pit lane is open for mandatory stops on the next lap. It will be Kieran that claims the stage 2 victory, so add 1 to his tally. Here comes Casper again. We're going to go on board with it. Will he make a move into turn 2? He's a lot faster this time and a lot closer. Around the outside he goes. Will Kieran defend? Not that much, so Casper back in the lead of this race.
Kieran was a sitting duck there. The speed difference was crazy.
Absolutely. In fact, Kieran running, or having the best gold running livery. The other two are P15 and P18. So, like we said, gold liveries do not work. What else is going on? We're seeing Risky and Connor. These two have had some fun over the years. And also Pete Knighton with a penalty, but he's not far off the back of Michel. We'll go to that shortly. So Risky, since getting past Jamie Wright, hasn't made much progress. But Connor, I think his softs might be starting to fall away now. As Risky just filling the mirrors. And will probably, more than likely, make a move on the next opportunity on the pit straight, unless they pit. I imagine Connor will pit. He has to.
I think he has
but
to.
Is it? I think, Matthew, he's made an error by going onto the softs here. We're going to see these guys stay out. Those softs will be absolutely killing him. Unless he misjudged the gap between the rain.
He could be waiting for the rain, but that's 9 laps on the softs are going to be hurting.
Yeah, that's just about your limit, isn't it?
Yeah, when I had my Joker at Imola last season in Kia, and I managed to do medium and soft strategy, and those softs at the end were just... It felt like I was on glass. It just did not. It was just not working. So yeah, Connor's got to be hurting.
Yeah.
With Risky's got to be looking to take it.
And Risky will be wanting to get past him fairly soon as well, because Jamie Wright finding his way back into this battle as Risky runs very wide and pushes Jamie Wright onto the grass. We did see that. Jamie Wright sends it up the inside. And that's going to be a penalty. Yep, easy. Loads of tyre smoke. So that was sort of a little bit unnecessarily aggressive, wasn't it?
Yep.
From both parties. See yellow flags for OKK.
KK, yep.
Round the corner they come.
Connor is in.
Connor in. And Risky, you watch this now. But I tell you what, Gareth's there as well. And Gareth would have seen that move that Jamie Wright pulled. So is it... Go on, I've had a go at him and he's beating me up. Go on, Gareth, you have a go. See if you can get past Jamie. Wonder if it's a bit like that. Credit to Ben Spurs, by the way. Recovering from that incident with Kieran, as we see a spinning Leroy.
Leroy? Yes, it is.
Yeah. And now recovering Leroy.
Yep, just a spin, no damage.
So,
all is well.
Poor old Connor then. Out on the medium tyre. Trying to get some heat into it. So that's an additional pit stop that he's had to make there, which he didn't really need to make. But so I really do think he has misjudged the rain. Jess, what is Mark saying now?
I'll check in a minute once I'm on the straight, and I'm also about to be lapped as well.
Oh, we'll watch this. That'll be embarrassing for you. Here comes then the race leader. There goes Casper, followed by Kieran. Jess in the middle of these two, gets well out of the way. What we love to see. 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think Connor was just really unlucky with that, but it's part of the game. You've got to choose a strategy.
Absolutely. And maybe he can work his way back into it with another safety car. 100% all of these guys are going to pit again as Jake makes his way past Jess. He has closed that gap, but not at a rapid rate of knots. But he is still very much in contention for another race win here. Going back to back. Can he go back to back? That's the question. So maybe... because we expect Jake to be faster, maybe he does have some damage. Oh, there's a penalty! Well, that's made life a bit harder. Because he did not. With that damage, Quinn pits, by the way, onto the mediums from the hards. With that damage, without it, Jake would be a lot quicker. This is one of those tracks that you really do struggle when you get a bit of damage underneath you. Will Jess overtake Quinn? I don't think so, because Quinn's way out in front now.
Not sure if it was worth Quinn pitting there, unless his tyres were completely gone.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. Quick yellow flag there.
I think he would have been better sitting on the hards and just waiting, because if the rain is 5 minutes away, like Jess has said.
Yeah, I mean, you're better off being slow for a few laps than losing an extra 20 odd seconds.
Exactly.
Caught the end of a Pete Knighton move there as he works his way back into the top 10. And Casper continues to lead from Kieran. Lovely helicopter shot of this. We'll stay with you, Pete, for the moment, because this is beautiful. Through turn 8 and 9. What a shame, man. Season 1 champion. Had a good post-season run in Season 2. But has never rekindled that form ever since. But maybe one day we'll see the likes of Pete Knighton back on top. We do wish for it to happen. Meanwhile,
we want everyone to drive their best.
Absolutely. The talent is there. I assure you the talent is there.
Absolutely.
And there goes Pete, lapping Jess. Michelle behind him will pit, and yellow flags.
That was me moving out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Jess.
Stop getting us excited. Kieran, by the way, has taken the lead. So I don't know when he got past Casper.
Oh, I missed that.
I'm just on the VAR now, and he led.
I think MK is in the... Nope. Tez is in the gravel, but he's going again. So we're going safety car.
I tell you what, this race could do with a safety car, couldn't it?
It could do. Just 10 laps to go. It would spice things up a bit.
It's just 10 to go, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. That would be an interesting choice if we had a safety car like now. Do you and the people who can pit under safety car, do they chuck a set of softs on or another set of mediums, or do they risk it with the intermediates with the imminent rain?
I tell you what sucks for Jake, if a safety car were to come out. Hang on, here goes Casper. Doesn't make the move. Jake is the only man who has pitted under a safety car. So should it come out and then start raining, he has to wait until the safety car goes in. That's going to put him all the way to the back again.
It will, yeah.
But he is working on that gap. He's now at 1.5 seconds from the front two, as we see Connor and Leroy. Oh, Leroy pits, that's why, never mind.
Leroy pits.
For softs. So that suggests to me, I mean, Jess will give us a better indication, that suggests to me the mediums are going off.
Yeah, they are going off a little bit. I think Leroy probably did the right thing pitting there. It's around about 44% on the rears, so I think Leroy probably pitted around about a similar time, but it does depend where you are in the field. Leroy pretty much bowed everyone as well, so his tyre wear will be a lot higher. So people like me are going to hope the rain comes soon, so we would come in and pit and go on to Inters.
Well, riding on board with the leader, the rain doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon as Kieran leads his 4th lap of the race. Will Casper make a move? Yes, he will, to the inside this time. That was easy. Really easy, in fact. And Jake still about 1.3, 1.4 behind these two. Kieran stays with Casper, who's having the race that he needed. He's one of those that relies a lot on form and confidence and whatnot, and this is a race he really needs, and it's good to see that he's up there. 6-time race winner in the Cup Series. Brilliant race, and what a time to have a brilliant race as well. Average regular season, advanced on points. But yeah, going back to the issue with the mediums, as we see Tez now onto the softs, is it makes Danny Quinn's stop even more remarkable, doesn't it? He was on the hards.
Yes.
If people's mediums are going off, surely the hards would have been the tyre to go for, because the rain's not come. And we look at inside 8 to go now.
Well, Quinn's on 3 stops. He would have been, if he had stuck it out on the hards for another couple of laps, he could he could now be pitting for softs.
So he did one non-mandatory stop at the beginning. I think it was about lap 2.
He pit at the end of lap 1. But yeah, he would have been better off sticking on the hards.
Yeah.
And either gambling for the softs about now, or if the rain had come, going for the intermediates.
And the problem that Quinn faces now is he's, within a lap or so of getting lapped. It's absolutely ruined his race from a very good position. Because all these medium runners, they're going to have to pit either onto inters or softs, depending on what the weather does. I mean, it's still not looking awfully wet, is it?
Drops in next few minutes.
I mean, it has clouded over, but maybe it's one of those you can stretch a pair of softs out to the end, or set of softs out to the end. It's quite remarkable circumstances here. Everybody has to pit again, apart from Connor and Leroy, and also Ben because he's a joker, Jake because he's a joker. That's something that might save Jake, actually. Something we had forgot. Risky P8, a joker. Leroy's joker has been thrown because of that second stop.
Yeah.
So we see him through turn 7. So maybe it's not over.
Yep,
there you go.
Spots on the screen.
So that ruins Jake O'Sullivan's race, because he's not going to last 6 laps on those mediums. That rain will come down a lot quicker, unless we get a Miami-style finish that we saw. Was it in the Kia or Cup Series last season in the finale, where you saw a few guys stick it out? I think it was Kia, wasn't it, on the dry tyres? And
I think it was Yuri.
It was Yuri.
And he got a puncher, which I think stopped his chance of being a double champion. Just saying.
Yep, half a lap away.
It was.
Half a lap away from being a double champion. Go on, Matt.
I think those front. Sorry, what tyres is everyone on? I think the front 10 will risk. I think they'll risk staying out and just hope that it doesn't get any heavier than this.
Oh, and then stick on softs at the end. But they may. Oh no, hang on, I got the wrong person. It's Pete that's spun.
Oh, we've got a couple in. Oh, we've got VSC.
That's a shame.
Scratchman, another penalty.
I missed that. Thank you very much. So that all but confirms it now, as it is Inters that go on to the front runners. And Kieran also enters. Yuri, what will Yuri do? He's next in line. So these are all the mandatory stops that you're now seeing. Because of the weather, we're getting this a lot later on than normal. And everybody does appear to be going for it. Ben Harrett. So I thought Ben Harrett stayed out then. So yeah, everyone being sensible for a change. You don't get that often in JACKOCAR. But it's stops that had to be done. Jake has overtaken Kieran in the pit stop phase. So I wonder if Kieran may have got a new front wing there. Connor in. Leroy, what a shame. Leroy and Quinn. And yellow flag's out for... It's Quinn.
Ah.
I think he tried staying out on the mediums and it hasn't worked for him.
Well, he's going again, so... interesting, Leroy and Tez.
Tez, yeah, I know. I've just picked up... And Tez is forced into the gravel!
Oh no!
And he's already given the place up, hasn't he? That's what we love to see, that bit of carnage. But he's really struggling, is Tez. I don't think softs is the way to go at this point, as Casper has been overtaken by Jake. So Jake's penalties are 8 seconds. Say no more. Yeah, Quinn finally pits. Well. Yeah.
It's definitely Inters now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. 26.
Watch how Leroy and Tez do on this last end of the lap.
Jake last led the race on lap 1. It took him 26 laps to get back to the front. We see more yellow flags. Tez
is off again. They'll both be coming in. They have to.
Yeah. I think, to use a better term, I think the ship has sailed on this one for the soft tyres. Pete Knighton gains a position there. Leroy comes in. Wrong strategy. And Tez stays out. Tez playing for a safety car.
But he can't pit under safety car anywhere unless he hasn't pitted at the start. Maybe he's hoping for a safety car.
Well, Tez has done 2 stops.
2 stops. Yeah.
I don't know what staying out would give him, because if we have a safety car, that would take us to that would take us to the last lap, and if it's still raining, he would. And he's gone again, and he would be on. Well, he'd be on softs on a wet track, and you'd just get absolutely.
Yes, but he has already completed strategy, so he can pit under safety car. It makes no difference. What's wrong with the game physics today? That isn't.
True. Sorry, I forgot about that.
That's an awful bit of spray coming up. I don't know if you're seeing that the same as me, but it looks awful, like a 1990s game. Honestly, shocking from Codemasters.
I think OK's off. Nope, Jamie's off. Jamie's doing donuts.
Yep, Jamie Griffiths as he gets lapped by Yori here. And Jake has opened up a gap on Casper. But it's not 8 seconds. And Casper, 47 starts, 6 race wins. Looking at number 7. How many winners? We've had 6 winners this season. Casper looking to become number 7. He certainly deserves it, doesn't he? As we see yellow flags again flying it. Tez is out of this race.
He's gone. Oh, VSC.
Safety car.
Safety car.
Well then, everybody.
Well, that's really...
That's pit lane entry. Sorry, Matt, go on.
I was going to say that's really thrown Cajman out of the mix, because it's going to bring everyone together. He's got 8 seconds.
And this is the sort of thing that Ben Shaw and Kyle would be praying for. A Cajman downfall, if you will. And the reason for that is because they're obviously out of this race. This is going to be a very quick safety car, by the way. It won't be out for very long. But no. Tez retiring was sort of expected. Look at this on board with Casper, by the way. This is awful, awful physics. I mean, I'm looking back at my own stream. It doesn't appear to be that bad, or does it?
Oh, I've just gone onto the stream. I see what you mean now. Yeah, that looks... I see awful, what you mean by 1990s graphics. That's terrible.
I hope for Casper's sake it doesn't actually look like this in game, because I would hate to be racing behind that.
Awful. We can only apologise, viewers, but it's not our fault. That's terrible. But yeah.
Oh, Casper almost goes into the back of Jake. Sorry, that's not Casper, is it? Is that Mike?
I think
it is Mike. Yeah,
it's Mike. He's got caught in the mix.
Well, Mike is obliged to move out the way, and I hope that he does, because this could ruin a bit of a finale here. All drivers have completed strategy, but we don't have all drivers in this train. I think it's everyone down to... Who's that black car? Yeah, everyone down to Risky is in this. So top 8 and also a lapped Mike Kelterborn are in this.
Michelle will also just get onto the back of
What is he doing? Come on, Mike, you've got to pit. So away goes Jake. Luckily, Mike didn't slow down Casper too much. I'm going to come off that view because that is shocking. Into turn 2 they go then. It's no better off board. Casper and Kieran in amongst all the mist, negotiate those corners. And Jake has 2 laps to try and gain 8 seconds. If he doesn't, he will be falling all the way down to P9, looking at that.
Yeah.
So there's 2 to go here in Imola. What can he do? It has brought Yuri into this, but of course he does have a penalty. Ben Harrett, since losing the lead of the race, has never dropped out the top 5. Certainly in contention for a driver of the day vote. He has had an excellent race, but so has this man, as he has a moment out of turn 12. Casper back on form, but still with a charging Kieran behind him, looking for his second win of the season. It is 6th all time for the Season 6 champion. Casper looking, though, to kick off the postseason in the best possible way. But is Kieran looking down the inside? He is looking down the inside, and he's making a move on the fin. And that is move done. But there's going to be Jake crossing the line now. 1 to go here in San Marino. But Jake is not the issue. It's further back. Casper, he has to make this move. It's going to be the best place to do it. But is it too late? He doesn't. He thinks better of it. And Kieran now just has to guide his car around the track one final time. Again, I'm going to come off that view because it's awful. But Casper sticking a nose in up the inside. Kieran struggling and squirming for grip. But does Casper have an answer for the man from Aylesbury? Up the inside he goes, and Casper is now back in front of the lead. But we saw it was Kieran who made a move down into turn 17 on the previous lap for the race win. This is going to get feisty towards the end. Final lap entitles you to bump and run your opponent out the way. Off he goes!
Casper's
and that's a penalty for Casper.
No.
So Kieran now looks like he's going to be on for this. Yuri also with a penalty. So Ben Harrett and Gareth looking at podiums.
Wow.
What a shame for Casper. He still gets my vote on driver of the day. But what a heartbreaking way to lose it. I don't even think he's going to make the podium with this one. What a great shame. But round the final corner they come. Jake wins it on track, but Kieran knows he's won it on penalties. And there he goes. Ben Harrett second. Gareth third. Casper drops to P4. And Yuri with a solid result actually in P5. Jake O'Sullivan, P7. I think that is damage limitation for him. He will take that, considering 8 seconds worth of penalties in a very late safety car. What else have we got? We got Jamie Wright, P8. Risky P9 and Pete Knight and P10. Hopefully that's enough to see him again next week where we head to Brazil. They're still fighting further back. Oh, that's the game being an idiot. Leroy jumps up to 13th. Jamie Griffiths with an awful race down in P14. There's Quinn. Should have stayed on the hards. Mike Kelsborn got out of the way. And Jess, of course, you weren't able to catch up to the safety car, so you're still going round. And that's the last time I'm going to go on board with somebody because it really is awful, isn't it?
It looks like engines are exploding, that smoke.
Yeah. And there she goes.
Wow. Interesting, that was a very...
Interesting indeed. With that, so Jake had already advanced to the next round. Kieran will advance because he wins. So he's into the next round, and if points go in such a way, I think Ben Shaw, despite his DNF, may also advance as well. Give us a rundown of the order, Matt. I'm taking photos.
Sure. When it comes, I've got to skip through. So we've got Kieran who won, Ben Spurs second, and Gareth coming in third, which was unexpected. Then Casper,
Yeah.
Yuri, Michelle, top 6. Kajman, Jamie, Risky, and Knighton. Sorry, I don't know everyone's first names. Rounding out the top 10. Connor, OKK, Leroy, Jamie in the top. I can't scroll down. Sorry. Jamie in P14. I would love to tell you the rest, but my controller's not working.
That's right. Quinn, MK Vaughan, and Jess, and yeah. So Jess is the last finisher, and then you had retirements of Tez, Iceman, and Kyle, who we lost those two on the first lap. Detrimental more so to Kyle in his hopes. Iceman, he might be able to get away with this one. Kyle's going to have some work to do in Brazil, though, which is where we head next week. Jake already advanced. Kieran has now advanced. And Gareth and well, Gareth for the playoffs. That's a massive result. It might just keep him out of the commentary box for Silverstone. And Ben's Spurs will now find himself leading the chase after one round of postseason races. So there are 5 to go, and then of course a championship decider on, I think it's the first week of June, isn't it? Someone will correct me, I'm sure. But shout-outs for driver of the day. Surely Kieran, Ben, Casper, and did you go Jake or Yuri? I'll work it out in a second because I need a poo. But there we go. That I can't advance from this, by the way. But that that confirms the first race. Then in San Marino, there might be a few post-race penalties, which you'll be informed about. Be sure to check out at JACKOCAR_ on Twitter after this race. Standings should be up this weekend, or no later than this weekend. And like I say, we go to Brazil for an elimination race in 1 week's time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Matt, for joining me.
Thank you.
Good to have you once again. And I guess I just promote myself to lead commentator role forever now, don't I?
It seems that way.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Although I'm not here next week, so it has to be Owen. It has to be.
Who would you get if you were not in?
We'll have to postpone the race.
Just don't have it.
Yeah, we'll worry about that next week. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yep.
And
thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you all for watching.